I saw this article and I had to do a video about this, and I'm going to put the article on the bottom and you can read it for yourself. But I had to make this video because back in 1998, I made a video titled Unanimal. And it was dealing with this white woman that married a horse. And she was talking about what it was like to have sex with this horse. Now, this woman was married to a man, and her husband permitted her to marry this horse. And I talked about how a time would come when there will be a possibility of humans and animals that have sex develop offspring from that. And I was so detailed in that video that YouTube removed the video. So now in 2021, and of course there's articles back in 2017 where they talked about this, and of course now the United States is doing the same thing they did with the COVID. They're putting it on China and claim not to have anything to do with COVID. But in 2017, I read articles where they were talking about human-animal hybrids. And Fox News had just did the news on this on yesterday, and they were saying how the United States was not in agreement with it, and it's China that's doing this. But in the articles I read back in 2017, it was being done right here in the United States, where they're making human-animal hybrids. Now, another thought that came to my mind was a video I did talking about the gay bomb. And you can Google that. You can look that up. If they didn't remove that, you can still find it on Google about the gay bomb and how a gay bomb, a non-lethal bomb, was developed that would turn the enemy gay. They would become so overwhelmed with passion towards each other that it would take their mind off the war. And I believe that it was also tested here in the United States, and that's why we're finding so many people now that believe that they were born gay. And now it's to the point where the government are creating laws to protect them. They're given so much power. They are now the most powerful group in America. The LGBTQ community. They're the most powerful group, and they're still given power. And in my own opinion, this is some form of reparations for what the government had done to them. Yes, I believe that gay bomb was tested right here in the United States. When we talk about those chemtrails, and Prince, before he passed away, spoke about chemtrails and how it caused so much disharmony in the community. When we saw those prop planes and the chemtrails, and then people in the neighborhood start fighting among each other. So yes, I believe that it had already been tested here in the United States, and that's why homosexuality and lesbianism is at an all-time high, where now they're starting to condition children that it's normal. And maybe these human-animal hybrids will be tomorrow's aliens. Because now all of a sudden we're hearing about UFOs. And keep in mind, whenever they show you a UFO in the media, notice it's never clear enough to be able to tell what it really is. It's all fuzzy, and you really can't make out what you're really looking at. So now that they're talking UFOs just about every day now, we're seeing a news article where it's talking about UFOs and how they're about to release documentation about UFOs, and what they're doing is preparing your mind for tomorrow, for what they are creating in the laboratory. And then tomorrow, when these human-animal hybrids are created and now live among us, there will be laws signed to protect them, anti-hate laws, just like they did for the LGBT community and the Asians. There will be an anti-hate bill signed to protect these human-animal hybrids. So the article said, mutant human-animal hybrid sparks fears of Frankenstein creature. Researchers conducting human-animal hybrid experiments struck fear into federal lawmakers worried that nightmare scenarios of Frankenstein creatures have become reality. They've always been here. They've just been in a laboratory, top secret. And it says, early this year, researchers announced a blending of man and monkey. The Salk Institute for Biological Studies in La Jolla, California, said in April that it participated with a China-led research team in an experiment by injecting human stem cell into monkey embryos. They allowed the resulting creature to live and grow for 19 days before terminating it. So they're telling you that it happened right here in the United States. I read articles where it went into detail and what university in California that it was done. But yet, on Fox News on yesterday, it was saying that it's done in China, and the federal government, there's congressmen that disagree with that. Again, just like what happened with this alleged pandemic that they're putting on China. And it says they allowed the resulting creature to live and grow for 19 days before terminating it. The researchers responsible for the technology used in the experiment said their work aided the study of embryonic development. Federal officials have placed a moratorium on U.S. funding of such research, but they are reviewing the restrictions and scientific development as Congress debate a bill to spend nearly $200 billion of taxpayers' money on research and development endeavors to counter China. And then it says, Senator Mike Braun, Indiana Republican, said he is worried that such human-animal hybrid experiments will cross ethical boundaries, which they already have, and contravene the dignity and sanctity of human life. I mean, any of us could speculate on kind of the Frankenstein concept, let's put it that way, which that was being referred to as in terms of what this leads to, Mr. Braun says. And he added, I don't know. I think that I do believe that there's a genuine interest in taking so much that we've learned through DNA analysis, understanding the genome of not only human beings but other animals, that there's going to be that temptation, contagion, to go beyond maybe just the altruistic effort of finding cures. Now, this is the excuse they're going to use to do this when they have other motives. They're going to talk about cures and science, and also test it on human beings in the name of cures. But yet they have another agenda that's happening. That's their way of keeping the public blind and manipulated in the dark. Efforts of finding cures for very, very vexing ailments like ALS, like Alzheimer, and like any of the diseases that are out there that are significant, that we're not even to the point where we know exactly what causes it, let alone cures. So I'm gonna put the article on the bottom here, man. This is something that has always been going on. We just haven't seen it. And as a matter of fact, there was a video I did on an article where in New Jersey, I believe it is, they had some type of scientific laboratory out there where they started finding weird creatures that was washed up on the shore. Like where these pharmaceutical companies had, I guess, tried to get rid of it, and it kind of washed up, and it was like weird creatures that washed up, and it is believed that it came from these chemical plants, these drug manufacturers. So this is something they've always been doing. And again, once this really come out in the open, because think about it, when they talked about aliens and extraterrestrials and UFOs, they put it out there to make you think that they don't exist. But there's some stuff they got, some top secret stuff that they got hidden from the public, and our tax dollars are paying that. When they first started talking about stem cell research, they were talking about saving lives, and it had a lot to do with abortions. So now they've taken it to a totally different. And before I end this video, and I'll put this as a screenshot, Fox News had an image on the screen, and it was the image of a pig and the silhouette, which looks like a so-called black person, or maybe an African woman or boy. But you can tell by the silhouette that it was a black person, right? Which I found that to be quite interesting. Using black people as lab rats. And I'm going to find that and put it as a screenshot. If not, I'll put another image up. But, don't be surprised if we start seeing weird creatures and then they sign into law protections, anti-hate bills to protect these creatures that they've created, just like they do with the LGBT community, which I believe that, and it's not a coincidence that now all of these people now, gay has become the norm. It has become today's society, when at one point in time, it was something totally different. Even in the psychological DSM, man, they had a totally different definition of homosexuality. But now it's the norm, and now you can find yourself in trouble with hate charges for speaking out or disagreeing with that. So feedback, tell me what you think. I'm going to put a link to this on the bottom. Click on the Cash App, support the channel. Until next time, I'm fearless.